Hi there, this is Emma Borg from Unique Phoenix, and this is this week's Calling Bullshit. So the next couple of weeks is all about respect, yeah? And it's been really hitting me about political correctness, this PC business. And I actually wonder, and I started to look into it because it made me think, is PC being respectful? I don't know, because sometimes it doesn't feel like it is. I've been watching clips, and a particular one on this amazing woman, and they were at a conference and they were talking about some deaths that had occurred in America. There was 4 men that were killed, and they were killed by ISIS extremists. And I'm just taking away from this, so Muslim extremists. And a woman stood up and started talking about how, the effect that it has on the rest of the community. And then the woman on the panel answered, and it was such a beautiful answer. And when she got to the end of it, because she was saying, well, hang on a second, we're not talking about a whole culture. We're talking about the people that killed these 4 men. And then she said, maybe we need to think about, putting political correctness aside here for a second, because it's got nothing to do with correctness. And so that made me start to think, what does political correctness stop you from saying or doing? Is there opinions that you've got which are very different? And then it made me start thinking about researching it. Now, political correctness, the term, has been around since the 1800s. And the term was not used in the same way that it was back then. It was used to divide parties, to have and it was also used to describe Marxist and different organisations. So it was used in a very political sense, and it wasn't really something publicly that we used. And it wasn't until the 1990s, there was a book written in 1987, and so in the 1990s, political correctness started to really take its own little life form, and what it had become and what it had morphed into wasn't to describe a party or perhaps a way that they were speaking in politics. It became a way to support obedience and to label people and to put people on the back foot and make them feel like their opinion wasn't important because it was so different. And it separated cultures and it was a way to label and enforce. There's a really interesting life that it took of its own. So I'm calling bullshit on political correctness, because there's stuff that happens in the world and that it just is not okay. And we're like, oh, we can't say it because PC, but there are children being sold, and it's happening in America. It's not just, in countries that we don't, we think, oh, they've got different laws. There's cultures that marry young children, young women, not even women, they're young girls, they're 8-year-olds. And apparently that's okay. But it happens in America. There is an amazing organisation called Not For Sale. And when I was speaking to one of the people that works on the board of this organisation, they were saying that the biggest, rifest area wasn't necessarily Mexico, it was America. And Middle America was one of the biggest problems that they could see. And this is a few years ago, stats might have changed. But however, it really opened my eyes. And so political correctness, what is it stopping you from saying? And why? Why does it stop you? Why does this label of you're not being politically correct stop you from saying or doing things? Now, there's some things that are morally out there. So how I want to bring that back to respect is, when you're thinking about respecting yourself and your opinion and your choices, is being politically correct and what it looks like to other people affecting you and stopping you from saying certain things, from being a particular way, from doing things that you feel good about, that don't harm anybody, that have no intention to harm, and aren't done in a way to exclude or to harm anyone. However, they're not politically correct, so you don't do them? Is that what happens? So I'm calling bullshit on political correctness. I think we need to morph it back into what it was and stop using it as a way to stop people from saying things that aren't necessarily mainstream, but are definitely important to hear. I mean, let's talk about the government and our current healthcare system or drug system that we've got going on. I mean, that's just money fueled, yeah? So, and the ways that they're trying to downgrade natural therapies and remove them as a choice. Has it gone crazy? Are we stopping from saying things because we're afraid of this label? And you know what? It's a bullshit label. It was created in the 1990s and it's taken on its own little life, and we somehow think this is part of our world. I don't know that it is. Why don't we have MC? Is it morally correct? Mwah! Have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me for Calling Bullshit, and I look forward to bringing it to you next week with a little bit more on respect. Bye.